You ever notice that? How people just disappear from social media? There's no big farewell tour, no dramatic announcement. They just kind of vanish. Well, today we're going to dig into the real psychology behind that silent exit. It's fascinating.
So let me just ask you straight up, have you done this? Have you ever just hit delete and walked away? No explanation needed? If you're nodding right now, you are absolutely part of this huge shift we're seeing, and I think this is really going to click with you.
Because here's the big idea, the main takeaway right at the start. Doing this, it's not about hiding from the world. Not at all. It's actually about waking up to something much bigger, something happening inside your own head.
Okay, so first things first. Let's just tackle the giant myth in the room, right? Because society has this very specific and, let's be honest, kind of negative idea about why people quietly log off for good.
Yeah, this is the story we always hear, that it's somehow antisocial, a sign you're scared, or you just can't handle the online world. But what if that entire story is just completely backward?
Because the real answer, you see, isn't in some social theory. It's actually way deeper. It's in our own brain chemistry. The reason you disconnect has nothing to do with fear. It's a totally predictable biological thing.
And it all kicks off with this little feeling inside that you just can't shake. You know that little buzz you used to get from a like or a notification? Well, it starts to fade. The validation that used to feel so good, suddenly, it just doesn't hit the same anymore.
And there is a perfect scientific term for this. It's called hedonic adaptation. And it's not just a social media thing, it's a core part of being human. Our brains are literally wired to get used to good things. So the same reward, when you get it over and over, gives you less and less pleasure each time.
And look, you can literally see it here. That very first like you got, it feels incredible, 100% rush. But by the time you're at your 1,000th like, you're barely getting a tiny fraction of that original feeling. You're basically chasing a high that is chemically designed to disappear.
So, okay, that hedonic adaptation thing explains why you might want to leave. But honestly, the most powerful part of this whole thing is what happens next. The real magic happens in the silence that you create for yourself.
And this brings us to this amazing psychological idea, the incubation effect. Basically, when your brain is finally free from the constant noise of a social feed, it can finally get to work on the deep stuff. It's in this quiet, this incubation time that your best, most creative ideas finally have a chance to come to the surface.
So this is the whole game changer. When you disconnect, you aren't just breaking a habit. No, you are fundamentally changing how your brain functions. You're shifting from being a passive consumer to an active creator.
Just think about it like your brain has two different modes, okay? The consumer brain is just stuck in that loop, reacting to posts, looking for likes, just scrolling and scrolling. But when you log off, you switch on the creator brain. And that's the brain that has the space to come up with new ideas, find real clarity, and let that awesome incubation effect do its thing. You know, you can almost map it out as this simple three-step journey. First, you start to notice it. Those likes just don't feel good anymore. Second, you make the choice to disconnect, to just remove all that constant noise. And third, you give yourself the space to just incubate, to let your own deep ideas bubble up.
So let's just reframe this whole thing once and for all. Quietly deleting your social media is not an act of fear. It's not weakness. It is a powerful, totally deliberate act of deprogramming your mind to get back your own focus and your own creativity.
Which really just leaves us all with one big, important question to think about. Now that you've cut out the noise and fired up that creative part of your brain, what amazing thing are you going to create in the quiet?